All right, guys, what is up? Happy New Year. This is my first big video of 2023. Well, it's not really video, it's a live stream, but still the same thing. And we're trying something different today. We're going to be talking about the NFL. We're going to be talking about like all the teams that are in the playoffs and everything because yesterday, best team made it to the playoffs by beating the Colts. So, yeah, tell me in the chat, by the way, what is your favorite? If you guys watch the NFL, obviously, what is your favorite team? Um, I know it's gonna differ from person to person, and I think that's great. So I'm gonna let a few people go in the chat before we start talking about everything that happened yesterday. Um, by the way, football is like my favorite sport to watch on TV. Probably the only like sport I really care about. MLB don't baseball don't really care about that. Basketball I really don't care. Same thing with hockey. And then soccer I only really care if it's the World Cup. Um, so yeah, I'm gonna wait for some people. We're gonna wait for the people to go in the chat, and then talk about all the NFL stuff that went down yesterday. Because a lot of games happened. A lot of teams made the playoffs. A few teams got eliminated, but we gotta see. It's gonna be very interesting to see what other teams make it. It should be really fun. So yeah, we gotta wait for some people. No one's here so far. Come on, we gotta get more people in. Come on, man. Dang, no one's here yet. So, what is your favorite like team? If you guys care about football or the NFL and stuff like that, because we're gonna be talking about all the stuff that occurred yesterday. Because yesterday was pretty big, especially for us, obviously, because the Giants made it to the playoffs, which is amazing news. They haven't done this since 2016. So the fact that they're here is very like is amazing. Chiefs, yeah, great pick. The Chiefs are knowing how stuff is going with them right now, they're probably gonna make it into the Super Bowl. Assuming that they like beat the. I mean, the Chiefs and the Bills are doing the best in the AFC. They're probably gonna be in the championship game. And maybe a little bit too early to call, but you know. And then the other AFC teams in the championship, the Bengals, which were in the Super Bowl last year, the Chargers, and then the Ravens. Only 5 teams. Meanwhile, we have 6 NFC teams in the playoffs. The Philadelphia Eagles, the 49ers, Vikings, Buccaneers, can't underestimate Tom Brady, Cowboys, and then Giants. They're doing well. I think they're doing the best in the AFC. Them and the Bills are doing the best. What are the teams that could maybe potentially make it? The Jaguars, Patriots, Dolphins, Steelers, the Titans, the Seahawks, the Lions, and the Packers. So the Seahawks, the Lions, and the Packers are all super close. Like, we have no idea what's happening with those teams right now. Same with the Patriots, the Jaguars, the Dolphins, and the Steelers. Like, we have no idea what's happening with them. We're going to find out next week, hopefully. But, yeah. And then the eliminated teams, the Texans, the Bears, the Cardinals, the Broncos, the Colts, the Rams, the Falcons. The Rams really just won the Super Bowl last year. And then the Raiders, the Panthers, the Browns, the Saints, the Jets. Great thing, because the Jets are the worst team in the NFL. They're awful. So bad. And then the Commanders are also eliminated. Oh, hello. So we're just talking about all the teams that are in the playoffs, all the teams that are not in the playoffs, and then all the teams that could maybe make it next week if they do well and they win. No, I feel bad for the Commanders, though, because the Commanders, like every other team in the NFC East, is in the playoffs. Cowboys, they're there. The Giants, they're there. The Eagles, they're there, of course. And then the Commanders are not. They're not there. So, yeah. I mean, yeah, they're not there. So, yeah, that's kind of sad. Yeah, the last slots for these playoff spots are very ambiguous. Like, we have no idea what's happening with them. Like, absolutely no idea. I don't know what happened to the Rams, though. The Rams literally won the Super Bowl last year, and they're not even in the playoffs. Like, what? I think this happened last time they were in the Super Bowl as well. Not that they won last time. Last time they lost to the Patriots in the lowest scoring Super Bowl ever, I believe. I remember like thinking that game was pretty boring though, and the halftime show was yikesy. Wait, is Wentz, is he still on the Eagles? I think I remember him being on the Eagles. Oh, no, he's on the Commanders now. Okay. Okay, I remember him being on the Eagles. Yeah, he's on the Commanders. And now they're not even there. They lost to the Browns yesterday, and the Browns aren't even in the playoffs either. So yeah, I think that's bad. Yeah, but yeah, the Jets are my least favorite team. I mean, yeah, they're definitely my least favorite. I hate the Jets with a burning passion. They're so bad. Anyway, let's look at all the that division, see what teams are doing the best. So the Jets did the worst. I mean, of course, because they're not even in the playoffs. And then the Patriots and the Dolphins are tied right now. And then the Bills are obviously very comfortably at number one. The Patriots and Dolphins, I think one of them are going to make the playoffs, maybe both if the Jaguars don't make it. So, I don't, or the Steelers. The Steelers can maybe make it. AFC East, the Bills, the Patriots, the Dolphins. The Jets are the only ones who are fully eliminated. Dolphins and Patriots are fighting for those last two slots. Could maybe both get those slots and maybe be just like the NFC East and get 3 out of 4 of them in there. And the Bills are just too comfortable at number one because they've been doing well this season. They're probably gonna make it to the championship and all that stuff. Then the Bills are playing tonight. Who are they playing against? Bills. They're playing against the Bengals. Yeah, they're playing against the Bengals. The Bills are favored to win right now. The game is being played in Cincinnati. Yeah, they're playing against the Bengals. Yeah. Wait, are you saying there won't be one in the AFC East? Because in the AFC East, the Patriots and the Dolphins both have 8 wins, and the Bills have 12. Which means they still think they'd be out front for the East, at least. I think number one for the AFC in general is the Chiefs. I think they're number one. I think the Bills are number 2. Anyway, number 1. Yeah. Then the AFC North, the Bengals are number 1 with 11 wins and only 4 losses. And then the Ravens have 10 wins and 6 losses. Both of those teams are in the playoffs. And then we have the Steelers, which might make it in the playoffs. And then the Cleveland Browns are the only team not in the playoffs. There's 2 more slots open for the AFC and only 1 left for NFC. So I think so. Yeah, I think it's going to be pretty ambiguous to see what team gets those slots. I think the Jaguars and the Patriots are expected to get those last 2 slots for the AFC currently. So yeah, and then I think the Jaguars and the Patriots I think are favored. Before it was the Jaguars and the Dolphins, but I think the Patriots are now favored to get that slot over the Dolphins. Then the AFC South, the Jacksonville Jaguars are out front. None of these teams are in the playoffs yet. Jaguars are favored to make it to the playoffs. But then you have the Tennessee Titans, which are probably not going to make it to the playoffs. And then you have the Colts, which are eliminated. They lost to, of course, the Big Blue, the Giants. And then the Texans, of course, are not in there. The Texans only won twice. They only got 2 wins and 13 losses. That is bad. And then they got 1 tie. Yeah, I think the AFC South is probably the worst, right? Because even the Colts only got 4 wins. And then we beat them yesterday, which means they're gone. So, yeah. And then the AFC West, the Kansas City Chiefs are number 1, obviously. They're doing the best of the AFC. So, yeah. At the rate that things are going, and they're probably going to make it to the AFC Championship, and then, boom, they're in the Super Bowl. You can win that. And then the Chargers are second with 10 wins. Both of those teams are in the playoffs. Then you have the Raiders and the Broncos. I know the Broncos are gone. Are the Raiders gone? I think the Raiders might be, but I think they might still be there as well. No, the Raiders are also gone. Okay, yeah. So they can't make it. So they just have the Chiefs and the Chargers. So what are your thoughts on all of the AFC, all of the AFC team, all of the AFC divisions that made the playoffs and all that stuff? Like, I think the fact that the Texans only got 2 wins is pathetic. Like, how bad do you have to be to only get 2 wins in the season? And then Indianapolis and the Broncos only got 4 wins. Raiders got 6. And then you have your 7 wins, your 8 wins, and then your 10, 11s, 12s, and 13s. Chiefs are doing the best, and then I think second best is Buffalo. And then third best, I think, is the Bengals. Yeah, I think third best is the Bengals. And then there's the Ravens and the Chargers, which are tied right now. Let's move on to the NFC. Again, with their 3 teams already in the playoffs. The Eagles are up front with 13 wins, followed by the Cowboys with 12, and then Giants with 9, and then Commanders last with 7 wins. Commanders are the only team in the NFC East not in the playoffs. I think that's interesting. I mean, the AFC North and the AFC East could get 3 teams in the playoffs as well. I mean, yeah, because assuming that the Steelers get in, or that the Dolphins and the Patriots both get those last 2 slots, AFC East would get 3 slots. Anyway, I think the Eagles are doing the best in the NFC. They're tied with the Chiefs right now. So yeah. Then NFC North, Vikings are out front with 12 wins, pretty safely, I would say. Because the Detroit Lions and the Green Bay Packers are tied right now with 8 wins each. And then the Bears are obviously last place with a measly 3 wins. Of course, they're obviously eliminated. Then the NFC South, Tampa Bay is number 1. Not close though. Wait, no, kind of actually, because the Saints, the Panthers, and the Falcons are all eliminated. But Buccaneers are the only NFC South team in the playoffs. Can't underestimate Tom Brady though, because Tom Brady. He's been in the news recently for like some stuff, but yeah. And then the Saints were in second with 7 wins, and then Panthers and Falcons were tied with 6 wins each. And then the NFC West, San Francisco 49ers were number 1. And I think they're second place in the NFC right now, tied with the Cowboys. And then Seahawks are 8 wins. Then the Rams have 5 wins, and the Cardinals have 4. So yeah, that's pretty much all a recap of like all the teams and stuff. So yeah, I think so let's see how. So yeah, the 49ers are good. They're second place in the NFC right now, tied with the Cowboys. As they could maybe make it to the AFC to the NFC Championship, and if they win that, they're going to be at the Super Bowl. Yeah, the 49ers could potentially maybe take that top spot away from the Eagles. Wait, let's look at all the teams overall to see the league. Okay, yeah. I mean, so overall league, Texans, last place is the Texans obviously with their only 2 wins, and then 13 losses and a tie, and then 1 singular tie. I mean, if you only have 2 wins, you're obviously gonna be last, buddy. Then Chicago Bears are second worst with 3 wins, 13 losses, and then 0 ties. So they were the worst team in the NFC, and the Texans were the worst for the AFC. Then then the Broncos and the Cardinals were tied with 4 wins, 12 losses, and 0 ties. Colts got 4 wins, 11 losses, and 1 tie. All those teams scored under 5 wins, which is yikes. Then the Rams are next with 5 wins, 11 losses, and then 0 ties. Raiders and the Panthers were tied, and the Falcons were all tied. Then Tennessee Titans got 7 wins, 9 losses, and 0 ties. Falcons, Panthers, and Raiders, by the way, got 6 wins, 10 losses, and 0 ties. And then the Titans are actually tied with the Jets, the Saints, and the Browns, and all those three teams were disqualified from the playoffs. So yeah, Titans are not looking likely to make it. What team do the Titans have to beat in order to make it to the playoffs? I mean, they lost to the Cowboys yesterday, but the Cowboys are good. And then what team are they playing next week? Next week they're playing against the Jaguars, and the Jaguars are favored to win. I think that's the team that the Jaguars have to beat in order to get to the playoffs. And then after those teams, it's the Commanders with 7 wins, 8 losses, and a single tie. I was there when the tie happened. I was there because they tied against the Giants. And then we get to the team and then we get to like some of the teams and then we get to one team that's in the playoffs, Tampa Bay Buccaneers, with 8 wins, 8 losses, and 0 ties. Tied with them is a ton of teams are tied with them with the Tampa Bay right now. The Seahawks, the Steelers, the Patriots, the Dolphins, the Jaguars, the Packers, and the Lions are all tied with the Buccaneers right now. And the Buccaneers are in the playoffs, so any of those teams you can expect to make it. We don't know yet, though, what's going to happen. And then we get to all the teams in the playoff, and then all these teams are in the playoffs. Next, we have the Giants with 9 wins, 6 losses, and 1 tie. Chargers with 10 wins, 6 losses, and 0 ties. They're tied with the Ravens right now. And then the Bengals got 11 wins, 4 losses, and 0 ties. 49ers are tied with the Vikings and the Cowboys with 12 wins, 4 losses, and 0 ties. Then third place, we have the Buffalo Bills with 12 wins, 3 losses, and 0 ties. And then tied at number 1, we have the Eagles with 13 wins, 3 losses, and 0 ties. And it's the same thing with the Kansas City Chiefs. So that's everything for the entire league. So yeah, that's pretty much everything for the entire league. I think it's really interesting to see what teams are going to make it to the playoffs and what teams are not going to make it, because we already have quite a few teams that aren't there. You guys got to tell me, did any of your favorite teams not make it to the playoffs? So you guys got to tell me. If not, I feel bad for you. I'm sorry. Oh, I need to get water. Hold on. Yeah, I'm thankful that the Giants made it to the playoffs, because how everything else is like extremely ambiguous. Like we have no idea what's going to take the last 2 slots for the AFC, and we don't know what's going to take that last slot for the NFC. So yeah, it's interesting. What teams do you think are going to make the playoffs? What teams do you think are going to take the last 2 slots for the AFC, and what team do you think is going to get the last slot for the NFC? You guys gotta let me know, because like I'd love to hear all your thoughts. I think these streams might become weekly to see what teams are in the playoffs and what teams aren't. You get to see what teams are disqualified. You guys get to follow me as the playoffs all happen and stuff. The playoffs don't start until January 14th, I think. So they're like 2 weeks away. But yeah, when they start happening, it's going to be very interesting to see what happens. Yeah, I think the Jaguars are going to make it. I think they're going to get one of the slots. And I think the other last slot's going to be the Patriots. What do you think is going to get the 7th slot? If you think Jaguars are the 6th, what do you think is going to get 7th? Because the AFC only has 5 teams in the playoffs so far. Or with the Chiefs, the Bills, the Bengals, the Chargers, and the Ravens. They still have 2 slots left. Right now, it's predicted that the Jaguars and the Patriots are going to get the last two. But I really don't know. It could really be anything. It could be the Patriots and the Dolphins, the Jaguars and the Dolphins, the Steelers and the Jaguars, the Steelers and the Patriots, the Steelers and the Dolphins. And I don't think the Titans are gonna make it. I think the Titans are out. They're gonna be out. I think. Yeah, I think the Titans are gonna lose. Are gonna be out. And then the Packers, and then the last slot for the NFC is between the Seahawks, the Lions, and the Packers. It could literally be any of those. It's currently predicted that the Seahawks are gonna get that spot. So yeah. But yeah, I guess I'd go along with it. I'd say the Jaguars are gonna make it and the Patriots are gonna make it. We're gonna have to see what happens with those teams though, because the Patriots, who they play next week. Next week they play against the Bills. Oh, they're not gonna win against the Bills. I don't think they're gonna beat. I don't think they're gonna beat the Bills. Yeah, I agree. I think the Titans are out. Patriots, though, they have to beat the Bills next week, and the Bills have been doing pretty good this season. What about the Dolphins? What teams do the Dolphins have to beat in order to get their games? Oh, they're playing against the Jets next week. Oh yeah, the Dolphins are gonna win that probably, unless the Jets somehow win. The Jets aren't even in the playoffs. So if the Jets won this game, it would not look good for Miami, I don't think, especially because the Jets aren't even in the playoffs. They were eliminated because they lost to the Seahawks yesterday. Yeah, I pretty much agree with all of that. Dolphins and the Steelers are also like on the outside though. Oh, especially because the Dolphins are playing against the Jets next week. They're probably gonna beat them. They're favored to beat the Jets right now. And then what's the other team? The Steelers? Yeah, the Steelers are the other team. Steelers have to beat the Browns in order to make it, and they're probably gonna beat the Browns. That's quite frankly. Yeah, I don't think the Steelers are gonna make it. Even though they are probably gonna beat the Browns. Yeah, I think Patriots and the Jaguars is probably the safest bet. What team are the Jaguars playing next week? Let's see. What team are the Jaguars? Game. Oh, they're playing against the Titans. And the Jaguars are probably going to win that. I think the Jaguars win that. They're going to make it. And then the Titans are going to be eliminated. That's what I think is going to happen. And then let's look at the NFC. Seahawks. Next week they're playing against the Rams, and they're favored to win. So I think the Seahawks getting that last slot is the safest bet. Is that the Seahawks will get that last slot for the NFC? Yeah, because they beat the Jets last night, and they're probably gonna beat the Rams next week because the Rams are not even in the playoffs. And then the Detroit Lions are playing against. Lions will be playing against Green Bay. They'll be playing against the Packers, and the Packers are favored to win. But both of these teams are on the outside for the playoffs, so it's not like one of these teams are not in the playoffs and one of these teams is. And then the Packers are playing against Detroit, so I think that game's gonna tell us a lot. Could potentially tell us a lot. But yeah, what do you think is gonna make? What do you think the last team is gonna be that makes it into the NFC for the playoffs? I think my prediction is probably the Seahawks, but it could be the Packers or the Lions. It depends, but I think Seahawks are probably gonna get that slot. Hold on, let me pull up the bracket because I know there's a bracket on there. And let's see it. Yeah, Green Bay could make it. They could make it. Detroit can maybe also make it, but I think Green Bay's a little more likely. Yeah, I think Green Bay could make it. I think my predictions may be the Seahawks, but I don't know. Could be any of those teams. All right, I gotta be right back. I gotta go. I'll be back. All right, guys. All right, guys. I'm back. I just had to go to the bathroom for a little bit, but I'm back now. So yeah, we're gonna continue talking about everything. But yeah, what team? I'm curious. What team do you think is gonna make it? Do you think it's gonna be do you think it's gonna be Green Bay, or do you think it's gonna be the other team? Do you think it's gonna be Seattle? This is the website where the bracket was. Oh no, it's for 20. This is for 2 years ago. But yeah, yeah, I guess Green Bay can make it. It's currently predicted that the Seahawks, based on this bracket that I have from Sports Betting Dime, they think that it's going to be the Seahawks. And then for the AFC, I think it's going to be the Jaguars and the Patriots. Undefeated. That's a football documentary, right? Football, soccer, but I like to call it football. Yeah, I think Seahawks and Green Bay are close. I guess I'd put Green Bay at the moment, but like I don't know, it could be anything. Even like Detroit, if they win that game, if they beat the Packers, which we don't know if they're going to. Favorite team is the Giants right here. Daniel Jones. This is my Daniel Jones jersey. I got it for Christmas. But yeah, the jersey should have given it away. That's the reason why I'm wearing it in the first place. And then my least favorite team is the Jets. I already mentioned that, but I hate the Jets. Burning passion. Can't stand them. The Bills are the only team that play in New York. Fun fact. Because the Jets and the Giants play in New Jersey. Even though they're labeled as a New York team, they play in MetLife Stadium, which is in New Jersey. Meanwhile, the Bills play in Buffalo, which is in New York. Yeah, the Bills are. Yeah, the Bills I think they're the best this season so far. Or they've won more games than the Giants, and more certainly the Jets. Jets aren't even in the playoffs. Giants are. I'm afraid the Giants. I'm thankful that the Giants made it to the playoffs, but I'm not really thinking that they're gonna make it too far. Because on this like bracket, they're expected to be playing against the Vikings, and we lost to the Vikings on Christmas Eve. If so, hopefully we beat them. But the Vikings have been good this season, have been been doing well this season. So I don't know. Would we beat Tampa Bay? I think we would maybe beat Tampa Bay, and we wouldn't beat Dallas. Obviously, we wouldn't beat the Cowboys. The Cowboys annihilated us once, and they annihilated us twice during Thanksgiving. So, and then the first time we lost to the Cowboys, I was at the game. And then they brutally lost to the Eagles the first time, and they're probably gonna lose to them next weekend because they're expected to play against them. But I don't think it's gonna do anything to them for the playoffs because they're already there because they beat Indianapolis Colts. So teams that are confirmed to be for you guys that are not aware, teams that are confirmed to be in the playoffs so far are the Chiefs, the Eagles, the Bills, the 49ers, the Bengals, the Vikings, the Chargers, the Buccaneers, the Ravens, the Cowboys, the Jaguars, and the Giants. Wait, no. Jaguars not in the playoffs. They are not. It's the Chiefs, Eagles, Bills, 49ers, Bengals, Vikings, Chargers, Cowboys, and Giants. Is Daniel Jones my favorite player? I'm not sure for my favorite players. I think they're all great. But I just simply got this jersey for Christmas, so I think he's one of the more recognizable players on there. Him and Barkley, I think, are the most recognizable on that team. I think Barkley's really good. Also, he's probably one of my favorites on the team. Yeah, Jalen Jones might be one of my favorite players, but I'm not sure if he's my 100% favorite. Also, what team do you think is going to get those last 2 slots for the AFC? Because the AFC has 2 slots left instead of 1. So yeah, they have 2 more slots left instead of 1. I don't really know why that is, but it's what it is, I guess. Anyway, the bracket that I have up from Sports Betting Dime is predicting that the Jaguars and the Patriots are going to get it, and which they probably could. I'm not sure if the Dolphins are going to get it or the Steelers. I don't think the Steelers are going to get it. I think it's going to be Dolphins, Jaguars, or Giants. It's going to be 3 teams fighting for those 2 slots. But yeah, I think we are going to. But yeah, I think we might be wrapping this live stream up. Thank you guys so much for watching. We're gonna be back here again next week, and to talk about the remaining teams that have joined the playoffs. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. Please like, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.